Hey guys, this is Evan from Solid. Today we're going to talk about the WP closed chamber spring forks. Cone valve fork, 6500 and 7500. We're going to talk about real simply how to make adjustments to the fork and what our sticker means. When you first get the fork and unbox it, you'll notice that your name, your settings, and a code is nicely displayed on the upper part of the fork. So what the heck does this sticker mean? I know it's super confusing. So obviously we have your name and your service date. But more importantly, so there's a shorthand on here to give you reference of where your clickers and your preload is set. For example, this sticker is C14R18 0T.PL. Now what does that mean? In this case, C14, compression is set at 14 clicks out. R18 means that the rebound is set at 18 clicks out. 0T.PL means that the preload is set with 0 turns in the spring. So the function of the fork might be different from the stock configuration. We have rebound on the bottom on both sides. We have compression and preload on top on both sides. You'll notice it is laser etched compression, plus minus, preload, plus and minus. Now how do we make those adjustments? So compression and rebound are referenced from all the way fully closed, so fully clockwise. So turning it all the way in, click, click, click. Each click is a spring and ball bearing detent. That's an even way to make standard adjustments in the correct increment. So our reference mark is always from all the way in. The same way you would close off the sink valve or a garden hose, turn it all the way closed, that is 0. Click, 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 counterclockwise to the desired number. So your preload adjustment can be confusing. It is not measured from all the way in, it is in fact measured from all the way out. Your tool will allow you to turn this in half click and or full turn increments. 1 turn is 1 millimeter of preload change on the spring, either in or out. So in this particular case, the sticker might say 1T.PL. Now what does that mean? That means that the preload for the spring is preset at 1 turn in. If you did not know where it's set and you want to check it, grab the tool, turn it counterclockwise, because again, our reference is all the way out, half click, 1 click, that's a full turn. Oh, I have a little bit extra. That extra doesn't count. So our 0 is all the way out and then clockwise to the first even click. This is now my 0 measurement. So now that we've turned this counterclockwise and then back clockwise to the first even click, and we have our 0, we can go back to the desired preload either on the sticker or where you want to go. In this case, let's say we want to put 2T of preload on the fork. That means 2 turns. Again, there's 2 detent clicks per turn. That would be 4 clicks or 2 turns total. 1 click, 2 clicks, 1 turn, 2 turns. I have 2 turns of preload on the fork. Now make sure you're making the same adjustments left and right because the fork does have the same adjustment and spring on both sides. For reference too, if you continue to turn this clockwise, it will never stop. So our reference mark again is all the way out or fully counterclockwise because there is a hard stop. So a reference for preload all the way out, back in clockwise to the first even click, and that is your 0 mark. So to help you understand what's actually happening when you're adjusting preload, as we turn this hex adjuster externally, it turns the preload mechanism, which presses on the spring tube, which then either compresses or decreases internal preload on the spring. Now we've talked about how the preload tool works, now we're going to talk about this nice handy dandy thin little screwdriver that comes with every kit. If you have proper handlebar orientation, this is not necessarily needed. You can easily get to and access your bleeder screw and your compression adjustment with a screwdriver. So normal screwdriver works great when your handlebar's not in the way. Imagine smashing this all the way flat. We now have this little handy dandy, the slimmest screwdriver ever. So this fits easily and conveniently underneath your handlebar to access this center compression adjuster without being constrained by the rest of your handlebar orientation. So we got a lot of questions about what do I do with that last little click all the way in on the compression and rebound, and that's a great question. We don't want to count that last click. So I've already turned this all the way in practically, so I'm going to continue to turn this in, and you notice I only have another little bit. So if you know, okay, I have a full click, but I don't have a full click at the end, this isn't my 0 all the way in. Again, same as preload, it's all the way in and then out to the first even click. That is your 0. Do not count that last little bit. So we've talked about how the preload works, how the compression works. Now we'll show you how the rebound works. Similar to compression, our reference mark is all the way in. Remember, it is upside down, the orientation can get confusing, but relative to your hand, clockwise, all the way in, that is your 0 mark. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Regardless of whether you're standing up or you're sitting on your back upside down, it's still relative to the motion of your hand. Right hand turn or clockwise turns it in, left hand turn or counterclockwise turns it out. Great, so we've reviewed all of our external adjustment. Remember, this is a symmetrical fork. Any adjustment you do to the left side, you have to do to the right side. Now knowing all this, it'll be much easier to decipher the sticker on every fork. So now reviewing the sticker, understanding how everything works, this is much easier to decipher. C14 R18 0T.PL. This fork baseline is 14 clicks out on compression, 18 clicks out on rebound, 0 turns in on preload with a 4.2 Newton spring. So the line with the clickers will show you where your baseline is. If you make adjustments off of baseline and get lost, you know exactly where to go back to standard. The line below it shows your internal settings. This is an internal code and adjustments that you cannot make externally. In this particular case, this fork has 360 milliliters of outer chamber oil, a 12 Newton pressure spring, and this particular code denotes our internal setting for the valving. One of the things you might notice about your fork or shock is that they come with an etch code from not only the factory, but when it comes back from us, it has an internal etch code that references your service, your setting history, and any owner change that might happen. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Happy to answer all your questions.